Shane McMahon may not be a pure wrestler like most others I've covered, but he's definitely had some amazing moments in the ring over the years. From his crazy antics in the mid-2000s to his battle with The Undertaker at WrestleMania last year, Shane is a real fan favorite. And with him gearing up to get back in the ring, what better time for Wrestling Origins, Shane McMahon. Shane Brandon McMahon was born on January 15, 1970 in Gaithersburg, Maryland, USA. Of course, he was born to Vince and Linda McMahon and is their only son. He grew up in the wrestling business and saw it grow and mature over the years from the inside. He was of course a big fan of pro wrestling and has said that he loved Andre the Giant growing up and always dreamed of being his tag team partner. Though today WWE is a billion-dollar company and the McMahons are loaded, back then he was just a regular kid. He went to school and got involved in sports like American football. In fact, he even aspired to be an NFL player at one point in his life. He says that he was a typical jock with a pickup truck when he attended high school in Greenwich, Connecticut. He had to get a job to afford that pickup though, so he began working in his father's warehouse when he was just 12 years old, where he would do things like fill merchandise orders. You'd think he'd get paid well considering he's the boss's son, but I guess not. Vince refused to give him a raise when he asked, which prompted Shane to quit when he was 15. Shane was trying to save up for the car and the warehouse gig wasn't cutting it, so he found himself a job in construction which paid nearly 3 times as much, and apparently Vince was very proud of him for doing so. While he was attending Boston University, where he graduated with a degree in mass communications and public relations, he was also beginning to get more prominent jobs in WWF. He worked his way up the ladder, going from marketing, production, and sales to the digital department, and eventually creative. McMahon would also begin working as a referee under the name Shane Stevens in the late 1980s. His most notable appearances were at the 1989 Survivor Series and the 1991 Royal Rumble, along with a brief backstage appearance at WrestleMania 8. He would continue working in a small capacity for a couple of years until he finally worked his way up to being a real on-screen character in 1998. He would make his first appearance as a WWE executive trying to negotiate with Mike Tyson, before becoming involved in his father's legendary feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin, though not in a major capacity. He would also begin doing color commentary for Sunday Night Heat alongside Jim Cornette, before turning on his father and helping Stone Cold. In 1999, Shane would leave the commentary desk for a more hands-on role, becoming an integral part of the corporation angle. He would end up winning the European Championship from X-Pac and even defended it at WrestleMania 15, though he had some help. He would end up giving the belt away to Mideon, thus was technically an undefeated champion. After that, Shane would take control of the corporation, aligning himself with superstars like Triple H to feud with his father and the Union. The corporation would eventually be fused with The Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness to create the Corporate Ministry, but it was later revealed that this was all the plan of Vince McMahon, in a weird, confusing storyline that ended with Shane and Vince battling and defeating Steve Austin for ownership of WWF.
It's me, Austin! Oh, son of a bitch! What? It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
Next, Shane would battle with Test over his relationship with Stephanie McMahon, but eventually lost and gave them his blessing. He would also get brutally beaten down by Triple H and the rest of D-Generation X before taking a brief hiatus from TV after Stephanie and Triple H created their own faction. After returning as a heel, Shane would aid the Big Show in his efforts against The Rock, but they were unsuccessful, prompting a match between the two which Shane won. He also aligned with Chris Benoit in his effort to win the WWF Championship, as well as Edge and Christian, who helped him win the Hardcore Championship from Steve Blackman. However, in the rematch with Blackman at SummerSlam, Shane was thrown 50 feet after climbing the set and being knocked off by his opponent. He would lose the title and began appearing much less frequently on TV. In 2001, while once again feuding with Vince, Shane did something that blew the minds of WWF fans. He purchased longtime competitor WCW out from underneath his father. Following this huge blow, Shane would defeat Vince at a father vs son match at WrestleMania 17. Next, Shane would pull off another one of his crazy, death-defying stunts by performing the Leap of Faith from the top of the scaffold onto Big Show. After that, he began a feud with Kurt Angle. This culminated in that all-too memorable street fight, in which Kurt would belly-to-belly suplex him through glass panels following multiple botched attempts. From there, McMahon would align with Paul Heyman at Stephanie and form the Alliance, pledging to run WWF and Vince out of business. This led to the famous Invasion storyline, which featured WCW and ECW wrestlers battling the superstars of WWF. This would all culminate at Survivor Series 2001, where the Alliance and the WWF's 5-man teams faced off. The team of Shane, Stone Cold, Kurt Angle, RVD, and Booker T would ultimately fall to The Rock, Chris Jericho, Undertaker, Kane, and Big Show, which resulted in Vince remaining in control. The next night on Raw, Vince would publicly fire both Stephanie and Shane. After a 2-year hiatus, Shane returned to WWE in 2003. He would make up with his father, feud and defeat Eric Bischoff, and most notably feuded with Kane after he tombstone piledrivered Linda McMahon, during which he competed and lost in the first ever ambulance match. After that feud, Shane would step back to focus on behind the scenes work and his family. He would make the odd appearance, but didn't compete again until returning in 2006 to feud with Shawn Michaels. Shane would most notably make Michaels join the Kiss My Ass Club, before joining the club himself after Shawn defeated Vince at WrestleMania 22. This would lead to the infamous tag team match featuring Vince and Shane taking on HBK and his newfound partner, God. Unsurprisingly, Vince and Shane would beat God and Michaels. Over the next little while, Shane would feud with Triple H, which led to DX getting back together, joined his father in his feud with Bobby Lashley, and was attacked and defeated by Randy Orton during his feud with the entire McMahon family. Speaking of Orton, Randy would break Shane's leg as a way to write him out of the story before he officially resigned from WWE at the start of 2010. During his time away from WWE, Shane would prove his worth as a businessman by heading to China to become CEO of a television media company called You On Demand. He made significant progress as its leader before eventually moving to the chairman position. However, he just couldn't stay away from wrestling forever and made his return to WWE in February of 2016. Shane returned to a huge pop, after which he demanded that he be given control of Raw. However, his father wasn't willing to do that for free, so he put Shane in a match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 32 so he could win what he so desired. Despite putting on an excellent performance in the Hell in a Cell match, Shane would be defeated. Things weren't all bad though, as despite his loss, he ran Raw for nearly a month before the announcement of the brand split, which resulted in Shane becoming the commissioner of SmackDown Live. Since then, Shane has mostly served in a capacity similar to a general manager, though he did get F5 by Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam and competed in the Survivor Series match where he suffered a legitimate concussion. Most recently, Shane would begin feuding with AJ Styles due to AJ thinking he was purposely holding him back. This led to tensions boiling over on the March 14th episode of SmackDown Live, when AJ attacked and bloodied Shane in the parking lot, prompting a match between the two at WrestleMania 33. And that was Wrestling Origins Shane McMahon. If you enjoyed the video, why not hit that like button and consider subscribing for more episodes of Wrestling Origins every Friday. Also, leave some suggestions for future episodes down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.